You sum it up by saying the child has the best possible start in life. Well, what does it mean to have the best possible start in life? Will you profile these children for us?
Yes. First of all, of course, he inherits a very good constitution. Specifically, he inherits a good intellect. So all of our youngsters are very healthy and they're very bright. And it's my observation that most of them are very happy youngsters. But that's the best summary I could make of the group so far.
Happy, intelligent, and healthy.
And that's a very agreeable accomplishment. To me, I think we're doing the right thing and it's working beautifully.
Due to the numbers and the potential that can come from working with the general public, their perception of this project is important to you. Are there any legitimate criticisms that come from the sector of the general population that bother you in any way?
We hear a lot of criticism, mostly springing from lack of information. When they know what we're doing and why and how it works, there isn't much opposition. As a matter of fact, let me repeat what you just said. It's hard to find fault with a proposition in which everybody wins. The woman has, the wife not only becomes a mother, which she dearly wanted to be, but she has the very healthiest, brightest child she could carry. And the donor has more offspring than he could have otherwise. And most important, the youngster has the best possible start in life.
Dr. Graham, you are known as a genius's genius. You really are. And you're very modest, but I have to ask you, do you donate to the repository?
No, Harry. I can find much better men than I.
Well, Dr. Linus Pauling had some input into this project, as I understand it. Can you tell us something about?
Yes, Dr. Pauling made some good jokes about this project, but he's also an advocate of vitamin C. You probably are aware of that. You may even have read his book on vitamin C. Well, Dr. Pauling is now 92, and the other day he held a reception, and I went to pay my respects to the man. I said, Dr. Pauling, I have a story for you, and it's true, and it happened just last week. Do you remember Herman Muller? He said, oh yes, a good friend. Well, Herman Muller and I set up a repository to collect sperm from outstanding men and freeze it and make it available to couples who wanted children but couldn't have them because the husband was incapable of fathering them. One of the donors to this repository is an outstanding physicist, head of a major department in one of the great universities. He's an internationally recognized genius. He's not only a brilliant man, but he's a remarkably handsome man. And his children are not only bright and healthy, but they're beautiful children. It would be a happy world if all children could be the equivalent of his. But while as a sire, he's magnificent, as a sperm donor, he's very ordinary. That is, his sperm count is average. The ratio of deformed to healthy sperm cells is not as good as you could hope for. The volume is not anything to be excited about. So, as a consequence, while we have some beautiful children of his, we don't have very many, maybe only a half dozen or so. But The other day, his latest shipment of sperm to us was in a different category. The sperm count was way up, and the volume was much improved, and the ratio of crazies was much better. This was a rejuvenation. So we phoned him to congratulate him on this big change and to ask to what he attributed this rejuvenation. And he said, well, you know, of late, I've been taking large doses of vitamin C. And Dr. Pauling liked that story. And I like the sequel to it because every shipment that he's made subsequent is equally good.
You mentioned earlier, Dr. Graham, that you had a waiting list here at the repository of over a year. So that would indicate that you need more donors.
Exactly. We have either to recruit more donors or lower our standards, and we're unwilling to lower the standards. So we're hard at work seeking out the most outstanding men who will be donors.
So if I knew someone, or if someone, any interested party knew a young man that might fit into this program, they could nominate them to you here at the repository?
Oh, we would welcome that. That would be fine. I would check them out. I would tell them who nominated them, or I wouldn't mention them, depending on the wishes of the person who brought them to our attention. But we would follow through on that suggestion, on that nomination.
Okay.
And the donor must, of course, be the younger the better, the brighter the better, and he must be almost perfectly healthy. He can have an allergy or be a little myopic, but nothing serious.
Dr. Graham, one who is not really closely involved with this project can hardly imagine the complexities. You make it all seem so simple here talking about it, but the complexities of this operation. If another philanthropist wanted to do something in this direction, would it be possible to put an egg bank into operation in association with the repository for germinal choice, thus giving both sides of the equation?
Theoretically, that would be the ultimate and the ideal. And yes, it could be done in association with us, but we aren't about to enter that aspect of things. That's a development for the future. Each donor to the repository is identified by number and also by color. So we have a double identification. And when we send to each donor the vials for him to fill, the cap on each vial will have his color on it, so that he will know he's properly identified.
He's lavender red, number 37.
Yes.
Is lavender red, number 37, is he very popular?
I don't identify him in my mind, don't visualize him, but I can tell you that they're all more popular than we can supply. Some of those men are terrific. They're magnificent physical specimens, and they're towering intellects, and they're just splendid, accomplished individuals.
I've heard people say that you have a man in here who has an IQ over 160. Is this true?
True. We have, as I indicated, most of our donors have an IQ over 130, but 160 and 172, if I recall correctly.
And they're in perfect physical health?
Splendid, yes. We check each donor repeatedly so that he not only is in perfect health when we begin to utilize him, but he stays in perfect health. He catches nothing. If he catches anything adverse, he's ruled out until it's cleared up.
So an ongoing screening operation?
Ongoing every time. Part of the great expense of this is the continual lab testing.
And no one is paid. None of these men are not paid one penny for their service.
We think it wrong to pay donors. It introduces a bad motivation. And our donors realize that they are exceptionally gifted